Hey everyone, this is Patrick, your intrepid GM here, welcoming you back to the Cosmic Crit podcast. Here in the intro to the show, we like to keep you guys abreast of news and tips and things centered around the Starfinder role-playing game universe. And last time I spoke with you, I told you to keep an eye out for an announcement, perhaps, of a publication coming early next year, but oddly enough, we haven't gotten that announcement yet, but we did get word from Paizo of a publication coming out late next year in the form of the first ever set of standalone Starfinder adventures coming from Paizo. We've already got the title for the first one coming out in July, and it is called Junker's Delight, written by friends Jason Keeley and Misha Bushjager. And this is the first standalone adventure. It's going to be 64 pages, much like the Fall of Plaguestone. And I imagine ready for new players and veterans alike to dive into. Now, not all the details have been announced yet, but a description of the adventure has been put up on the Paizo website, and it is set in the vast junkyards of Akaton. You've played Starfinder, perhaps, but have you heard of the Red Planet Junk Finders? It looks like a lot of fun. We're looking forward to it. And then we have another standalone adventure, unnamed yet, coming out a couple months after that in September. As always, if you want to keep up to date on these happenings, you gotta follow at Paizo on Twitter. Check out their Instagram as well, or just keep up to date on that blog page on Paizo.com. I'm not saying it's dire to stay up to date, but you don't want to be the last one to hear about these amazing games and other important news that is coming out of Paizo these days. Hint, hint. If you're not following them there, you're going to be left to the stellar dust, and you'll want to be made fun of by the other Starfinders. Speaking of stellar dust, we got dust off the week's episode here, as this is unlike one we've ever done here on Cosmic Crit. The trials of Hylax have begun, and the members of Midnight Squad have a monumental task ahead of them. On this week's episode, it's number 162, and we're calling it Speaking Rainbow.
Episode commencing in 3, 2, 1. Episode initiated.
It's time to claim hexes, battle barbarians, and explore undiscovered territory as we take to staking down the roots of human history in this week's episode of Cosmic Civilization 6. Welcome back to the podcast. This is your GM Patrick here, your governmental maestro, suggesting taxation and entertainment options for the people. This week, I'm joined by a council of players who are all in agreement that we have to nuke Gandhi into the Stone Age. They are my 5 friends and your players. To my right, she's supplying resources for a spaceflight victory condition. It's Rebecca rolling with Zinnia.
Hello.
Across from her, he's upgrading from bow and arrows to howitzer tanks. It's Drew delivering Echo 7.
Diplomacy or military?
To my right, the 9th wonder of the natural world is this huge bug. It's Tyler dredging up to Vasho.
Hey, Patrick.
Across from him, he's spreading the religion of butt kicking across the globe. It's Jabert playing his Trest.
Hi.
And across the digital table from me, whether he selects Hammurabi or Gilgamesh, you know this little plant's gonna spread across the face of the earth. It's Miles mixing it up with sprouts. Good evening. Yeah. Civilization. Just talking about planet Earth, basically, in video game form.
Civilization, the only game where Gandhi can go to war with George Washington.
Yes.
And definitely win.
It's a, you know, if you guys at home listening haven't played the games, there is a funny ongoing thing in the game where they base world leaders and gave them like attributes like aggressiveness and diplomacy, and they coded originally Gandhi's aggressiveness to be 0, but it didn't accept a non like.
It could go into negative numbers, and if it went into negative numbers, it ranked his aggressiveness super high.
Yeah, it instead went to Infinity. So you're playing against, I'll pick India and Gandhi to play against. And all of a sudden they control half the map. They're one of the most aggressive civilizations.
I never played the game, so...
Well, there's 6 of them that you never played.
I never played any of those games.
I know Jabber plays them.
Oh, I played the heck out of Civ 5. Oh man, I remember I was at PAX East with you one time, Patrick, and we were sitting there with Mike, Mike of More Your Nerd fame, and we were talking about games, and you looked up my Steam profile, and you were like, I want you to guess how many hours you've played Civ. And I got it wrong a total of 6 times, where he had to keep telling me to go higher.
Yeah,
I believe it was something like 1,700 hours. It's
rightly so.
Oh my God.
You said that you had left the game on for days at a time.
Right. Yeah. I would leave it on and I'd go to sleep and then I'd come back and finish the game. Yeah.
It's pretty funny. Guys, welcome back to the podcast.
Howdy.
Are you ready to get back into the adventure of book 4 of Attack of the Swarm? And this one should be called Relax of the Swarm, as you are.
Don't Attack of the Swarm.
Yeah, you're far away from the Swarm's influence here on the Forever Reliquary.
Well,
Yeah,
while that's going on,
I'm
I'll
a
just
little-
sit back of the swarm.
Yeah. I'm a little nervous that I'm not going to have my trusty sword to just chop through all my problems.
Should have brought your weapon with you.
We'll see.
I mean, I did, but
Well, there you go.
I've got my syringes ready to help us with skill checks. So there's that.
Skill checks indeed will be coming our way. Before we get back into it, though, let's talk to our old wily detective, aka our plant investigator, Sprouts Marlowe, to find out what happened last time on Cosmic Crit.
Sure. We found the secret entrance to the Forever Reliquary, but after talking down the Han guards, the case only got more complicated. We met Tuva, the abbot in charge of the Comet Church. She's got a few hundred devotees of Hylax. But something doesn't add up. The old Trox admitted us to the congregation, but hokey religions and ancient weapons aren't really my style. While the rest of the Midnight Squad made friends with the church higher-ups, I did some digging. It seems we've passed these Hylax trials. Might get a powerful relic loaned out to the SDF called the Crown of Hylax. Perhaps that's what's got the bugs all riled up, though time will tell.
Time will tell, indeed. But before that, you have to figure out if you are worthy. As we left off with you guys about to step through, you see the portal in the secret chamber of the Forever Reliquary, where the Sacred Assembly has gathered to judge you. This portal opens up to a serene image of beautiful hills, blue skies, green forests, opening up in front of you like, a holographic projector. And then as Tuva kind of straightens herself and starts speaking in the mystic Nachaki language, you see her eyes start glowing with kind of like a magical smokiness around them that makes them seem somewhat transparent. And as she gestures towards the landscape on the screen, she says, "This is a test of first contact. What you see on the screen is the 9th planet orbiting the star known as Near Tin. The creatures who live on this planet are indeed intelligent, but they have not yet developed spaceflight technology, and no other species have visited them before. You will be the very first creatures from another world that they have met. This is a truly important duty. You must make a good impression. You'll have to explain who you are, and they may not have ever considered there to be life on other planets. There's a good chance they might be frightened of you. They are not humanoid creatures, and you might need to spend some time observing them and understanding how they communicate. Hylax deems this a challenge worthy only of her true champions. So let the trial begin." With that, she'll close her eyes, her middle pair of arms grasping the holy symbol of Hylax around her neck tightly. The screen begins to shimmer around its edges, the same kind of magical aura, as a bright point of light appears at the very center of it and begins to grow. Encompassing the entire display is transformed into an actual portal that just seems like a door opens up in the wall to this location.
Isn't this a violation of the Prime Directive?
Aha!
If we were playing Star Trek, yes.
Wrong universe, my dude. So you guys are all free to step forth through this portal. Is anybody primed to go through first? Does anybody want to take that first giant step for
Sprouts will.
this kind? Yeah, tiny steps for humanoid kind.
For a tiny boy.
Yeah, you move from the cold, rocky interior of this icy comet into the warmth and sunlight of Neartenian sun. And looking behind you, you can just barely make out the portal here. It's somewhat invisible unless you're looking right at it, and then you can just kind of make out the figures of the rest of Midnight Squad and the council in the portal. But the rest of you can come through and get those nice sunlight beams warming your face up. And just a moment later, Tuva will stick her head and part of her torso through, demonstrating that the gateway is still open. And she'll say, "Good luck, heroes. You have once more a reminder, 12 hours. May Hylax guide your path. Farewell." She'll gesture towards a low set of hills to the north from here with one hand, and then bloop, tucks herself back into the portal, and you are on your own. Yeah, so what would you guys like to do?
Well, I mean, I guess we should try to seek out new life.
New civilizations.
I teed you up, Drew. Come on.
I'm trying to hold back.
No more Star Trek references.
Of all the things I can quote, this is one of them.
That is highly
unless
illogical.
you're doing it in character, I don't want to hear it, Drew.
All right, I guess we are doing it in character, Drew.
Yeah. There we go.
So Xenia is going to ready a syringe to stick probably Sprouts as soon as we see some form of a well, I guess they wouldn't be aliens, native creature on this planet.
Keep your sticks to yourself, sister.
She also recommended that we observe them for a period of time, so I'm wondering if we need to
that's what I would like to do. Is I literally want to seek out this life form. Like I want to be able to observe it. Or Sprouts wants to be able to observe it because he's a slinky detective. He's not going to be like walking up going, "Hi, buddy."
But she also said they're not humanoid, didn't she?
Yes,
They are indeed non-humanoid. So you're
they're probably not going to speak your language.
2 arms, 2 legs walking around.
Can I attune my camouflage membrane? Make it easier for me to blend into the background?
Yeah, how long does that take?
10 minutes.
Sure. So if you want to take 10 minutes here, I unfortunately do have to mark down like every single thing that happens time-wise because you all are on the clock. That is kind of what you're up against more than anything here. So 10 minutes for the camouflage. Now, I know for Tyler's sake, Tyler, what is your experience with Star Trek? Have you watched much or?
I mean, I've watched I've only watched The Next Generation.
Mm-hmm.
And of The Next Generation, I've watched the first 3 seasons.
Oh, okay. I don't know if they got into it too much, but there are instances of First Contact where creepily they do have people from the Enterprise like physically altered to be able to go down to a planet and like blend in with them. And that always made me think, it's like, well, what if there are creepy Men in Black aliens like already on our planet observing us?
Well, there are also episodes, and I believe this is the 3rd season episode where they have something called a duck blind, where they've got a holographic like watch posts that they haven't altered themselves, but they can secretly watch everything happening.
Right, and then it malfunctions and reveals itself, and that causes a whole slew of.
Yep, that's in one of the movies too.
And Picard gets shot with a crossbow.
Pretty cool.
Pretty nice.
Is that what you guys want to do? Do you want to try and camouflage yourself and stealth around to make these first observations?
I think that's
because we don't know exactly what we're in for. Patrick, before we move on, we did get a full night's sleep before, right?
Yes. I mean, it's up to you. You guys got to the Forever Reliquary, and then I believe because of the curse that Jabir had, you also rested while there.
I just wanted to make sure if I need to replenish my resolve. That's all.
I think everyone had the chance to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
one of the things that and I'm not sure if anybody actually invested in this skill since it doesn't come up very often, but we could try to use the disguise skill and to help out with any type of, camouflage, or at least make us look like a bush or a tree or local fauna.
I do have +10 to disguise.
Yeah. So Patrick, how long would it be for if Sprouts to try and do some like rudimentary camouflage stuff for?
Well, given that we are on a lush planet and I am a plant, probably couldn't be too hard.
I don't think you can use. I don't think you can use disguise to look like other things, can you?
Right, but if I am a plant, I could probably blend into.
You can use disguise to change your appearance, but.
So yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm Sprouts wouldn't try to do anything like it's not like he's going to try to change his entire appearance. He would just try to blend in with the greenery there.
Mm-hmm. I just imagine.
He'll have to take off his hat.
Mostly disguise is to change the kind of creature or details of you. It would be like trying to get a disguise to make a human look like a tree in real life. And that's like, a tree wouldn't be walking around and things like that,
So I resent that.
Maybe would survival. I mean, I'm just trying to think of any way we can. I get because so here's the point. If we want to do Operation
survival would.
If we want to do Operation Duck Blind, Devasho's staying right here. He's not moving another step because
that makes sense.
So which is totally fine. Come get me when you actually want to talk to them. But I'm totally cool with that. And Devasho would suggest that you guys go off and do your thing.
Zinnia, not to brag, but especially with a camouflage membrane, is pretty good at stealthing around. So she would be happy to scout forward and try to find maybe where these people are and communicate back to the team where they need to go to be able to observe from a safe distance. Would that be reasonable?
Yeah, I think a couple of you can probably do that. Devasho, for your time spent alone, is there something you would like to do Solarian wise that might help out in the future?
I can meditate so that I can take advantage of I can't remember what it's called. It's called
and I think,
sidereal influence.
Yeah, yes. So
is that one that takes some time?
I believe so.
Just a minute in meditation. Looks like I'm looking at the rules here.
Yeah. I need a minute, but I don't have anything else that I can particularly do. I don't think there's any skills that I can kind of take advantage of here.
Mm-hmm. I think Echo 7 might hang out with Devasho because I'm a giant robot. And we don't know how. We know they haven't done space flight, but we don't know how industrialized they are, if at all.
Yeah.
So that could be weird.
I figure Zinnia can fly up in the air, kind of get a bird's eye view. I don't know, imitate some fauna.
We have come to establish first contact. Get on the ground.
on the opposite end of that, Sprouts is small enough and can blend in with the plant life that he could stealth around on the ground. Because
he's got the flora and the fauna.
Yeah, I'm a mushroom. Say, yeah. Is there any Jabert, any spells Trest might have available to them? be helpful to first contact style action?
Not when I'm by myself. I don't think. I mean, let's see. I mean, I was sort of looking through my abilities. When we were actually
going to war.
Well, when we were actually about to meet somebody, I can touch one creature and communicate 10 minutes of information with them.
Right.
That is not language dependent. And so,
so
do that as a what was that?
Just tackle one of these aliens and be like, "Here's 10 minutes worth of knowledge. Go."
Well, I mean, ideally it would be like a handshake or something, not a tackle.
Excellent. All right, cool. Just figuring out what our options are here.
One of the things we can also do if we have I can't remember how long it takes to craft something, but there are, translator technological items that we could try to craft if we have the time. I don't think they're very expensive, and but I just don't know how long crafting things takes because I've never really had to.
Hours, depending on the level.
Yeah, so it's something, if we're having a really hard time communicating, I think it would be something we could fall back and do, but definitely not Devasha.
Well, why don't you as a player look up some? Maybe that's something you'll have to do later on. But for now, I'm gathering just a Sprouts and a Zinnia want to move forward on observations first, right?
I think that makes sense. And I mean, we have our comms so we can communicate back. So.
So go ahead and make me a stealth check as you guys move forward, either flying like above some of the tree tops here, or skulking along.
Oh no!
Oh yeah!
What happened?
It's a natural 1 on that stealth check. Does that mean I automatically fail? Because I get +2 with my camouflage membrane.
Yeah, it's a skill, so it's still pretty good. But 19
so
on Sprouts.
It's a 37.
They do indeed think you're just a mushroom. So what you see as you guys are scouting along, going towards the north here, up and down some hilly area, are lush trees in a variety of colors, kind of stretching out across the landscape here, as well as you walk, it seems very bright, colorful patches. Almost full carpets in some places, a very thick lichen. It feels like you're walking on clouds in some areas, and some of them are like reactive to you. So like where you step, where it was like pink is now like a burnt umber, and the climate here very warm. There's the chirps of insects that fill the air. And as you're walking along, there are a few blobby, amorphous creatures kind of traveling along these paths of vibrant flora, each of them brightly flashing varieties of colors as they pass. In the distance, you see what looks like stumpy buildings, perhaps the size of small dog kennels in the distance. Let me take you to some fabulous piezo art of what we are dealing with here.
Ooh.
This reminds me of the planet of the bouncy balls from Futurama.
These are indeed these creatures that you see from a distance. Small, roundish oozes with very tiny little, like, tentacles. Not even tentacles. They're more just like little feely fingers. They're about 3 feet in diameter, maybe 30, 40 pounds. And the art depicted on them indeed makes them look like chewed bubblegum, I would say.
Or the lumpy space princess.
Yeah, this purple one is definitely LSP.
that was my first thought. Like, it's like, oh my glob.
Indeed, they are partially translucent. Their skin, you can tell that there's like other things going on underneath this kind of like white opaque outer skin. But the main thing you notice is that they are indeed very colorful and giving off internal lights.
Can I do a life science check to try to glean like what I think they're made of or what they are? Or something?
I mean, this has got to be the absolute most amazing dream for, I think, any xenobiologist in the galaxy, is to be able to make these first scientific kind of guesses. Just taking some like pictures on comm units and doing some analysis. Make a life science check and we'll see what you can analyze about their anatomy.
All right. That is a 36 and it's a -5 to the DC on this.
Not a natural one this time, but
nope.
I think even if you had rolled a natural one, I think you would have just gotten a success, which is pretty funny. That is interesting. Maybe. So we also have success from Sprouts getting very close and perhaps hiding in a bush while observing there's like a group of them passing by each other.
The bush.
One thing that you notice, Sprouts, is that they are deathly silent. They seem to be, there's no orifices making noises, but you do notice they seem to be completely in sync with one another when they're moving about. So
Sprouts would probably postulate that it's possible that they are linked telepathically.
So let's see. What else can we do while you guys are observing here? And mind you, I would say about an hour and a half will have passed after this initial observation period. Give me, let's see. I think this information you might be able to share. Well, actually, do you want to continue observing? I guess I think you're only allowed to make one check within an hour. There are some other things you can kind of observe going with them. If anybody else wants to join up to make a roll, I think I would allow it even from afar if you want to share some information, maybe with Trest or the other folks.
Yeah, what role? Or is there somebody else? Sorry.
Yeah, let's get the other folks in, because I imagine you can share some info back via comms. Even if you're not stealthing forward, you might be able to take a look, zoom in from afar. Does someone who's not made a roll yet want to do a culture or perception check?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. You only do one or the other.
Oh,
what'd you get, Jabert?
22 on perception.
Yeah, from as far away as you are, maybe espying them from a following hill, you're not able to tell a lot about them. Devasho or Echo, either of you want to take a stab at perception or culture?
I can try perception.
Okay. You get those robot eyes.
It's a 25.
All right, so that I'll say is just a success after getting some bonuses from these other folks here. I think after the revelations that the rest of your team have gotten here, you figure out there's like a pattern to the way the ooze's coloration changes, and it might be part of their communication methods, their methodology. And indeed, just kind of like once you guys meet back up, from what Sprouts was able to overhear and from what you've gathered with your life science check, Zinnia, you are pretty sure that they can communicate via their perhaps colors that they're able to produce. And from afar, you see, what looks like a color language, perhaps on some of their buildings. Does anybody, before we move on, does anybody want to make a culture check just to see if you can get a sense of these creatures' social structures?
Yeah, Sprouts definitely will.
Yeah, go right ahead.
It's at 25.
Can I roll 2 or no?
Sure.
It's 35.
Okay, good. Yeah, I'm just double checking here in the amount of time that you have, what you're able to do, and by this point, I think from your successes in observing them from afar, you're not going into this next section blind. Indeed, you're going to get a +1 bonus to skill checks from here on out, basically.
Awesome.
So with that, let's go into what's the game plan from here? How do you guys want to set up first contact?
Do we know what they eat? I want to offer them food.
Ooh, good question.
That they eat.
I mean, I assume there's some kind of sustenance, right? Or do they just eat air? That'd be nice.
Make me a survival check.
Oh, that's not my best. Okay.
Ooh.
Oh.
But a natural 20 will do it.
27.
Water.
Pretty good.
You don't see them eating it, but you see perhaps in your observation hour before, several of them seem to kind of pick up some of the colorful lichen as they're like passing through. They don't seem to be eating it then and there, but they're collecting it and taking it with them.
Can I gather up a feast of especially good-looking lichen to offer them as a gift?
I imagine Devasha tried to help, and you're like, "No, that's crap lichen. You put that lichen down. Does not look especially yummy."
Oh boy.
That's what I give my friends is things to eat.
I'm not going to stop you, but when they burn you at the stake because you've sullied their religious lichen patch, that's on you, Rebecca. That seems like a Star Trek shenanigans.
But then I would walk forward, being of the lichen, being stopped.
Oh, the punishment for killing a flower is death on our planet for some reason. Oh no!
I know that some people are going to listen and think that that's such a silly concept for an episode, and then here we are.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. What other? I mean, there's really. I guess there are wrong answers here, but there's like no wrong answers in this form of brainstorming. What else do you think you want to do?
So I guess my question is, I mean, can we determine what their, I don't want to say mannerisms, but their temperament is? I mean, would they be super spooked if one of us were to walk up and try to communicate?
Yeah. So, I mean, put yourself in their shoes as just a human on this planet. What if 5 oozes surrounded you, and
I'm not saying 5 of us, I'm saying just one of us.
Well, yeah, or what if an ooze
I mean, if it was trying just to talk to me, like, I would be at least kind of curious because I'm weird like that. From
what you gathered, they don't seem to be they might have psychic communications, but they don't seem to be
verbal.
Yeah, they don't seem to have any verbal communication. You're pretty sure that the flashing colors they're emitting is a part of it, but what exactly that means, you're not sure.
So would it be possible to kind of make our I mean, part of me wonders if we just walk right up to them, that could be alarming. They have no idea.
Right.
They have no idea. I was thinking, like, what if we just kind of made our presence known and then waited to see if, because if we could kind of make ourselves
like run ahead and write a sign, but like, hello.
Yeah.
We are here.
Versus like allowing them to see us and maybe having them possibly approach us.
Who amongst us in this season has psychic or telepathic abilities? Trust. I mean, Sprouts, just based on his observations, seeing that they are at least communicating, even if by color, but they seem to be communicating wordlessly. would probably suggest that Trish try to communicate with them if since he's the one that has some sort of telepathic abilities.
Yeah, I'd be happy to do that. I mean, I think probably if I did, my strategy would be to
open up with a joke. You know, icebreaker.
I'd probably approach slowly and preferably mostly alone, and I would cause my my moat to pulse, just as a little, just if there's some sort of a color light communication happening here, maybe just a gentle pulsing is enough to sort of initiate that I would like to communicate.
Don't accidentally throw out the P word.
Why don't you trust make me a mysticism check. See if maybe you can get it so your moat is able to produce different kinds of colors based on like what you're thinking about. Well, if it is up to my roll, I've rolled a 34. It's about as good as I can do. Yeah. So I'll spoil each of these kind of rounds. There are DCs for various skill checks you can do. This is not one of them. I'm just going to use an equivalent DC. The highest for this round is 26. So a success.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But yeah, maybe like taking 10, 20 minutes, you think you can get your moat, which is normally like golden yellow, right? What color is your moat?
No, I don't know. I never picked a color.
I think we must have at some point.
Well, Devasho just chose yellow, so I think probably we would want a different color, maybe.
Yeah,
you can have whatever color you want. It's your moat.
Yeah, let's say like a nice red.
Okay. Well, you with other magical abilities are able to like change this up. I don't know if you have an appropriate whatchamacallit,
spell. Not really. I don't really have prestidigitation or anything like that.
Yeah, but with like concentration, for now you can just get it to alter its color for short periods of time, and produce like the range of colors that they seem to be producing. Does anybody else want to do something like that? Like, what if you want to expand beyond Trest communicating? Does anybody else want to join in that team?
My face is monochrome, but I could potentially flash my face.
I think to get any kind of electronic device in crafting it to make a wave pattern or colors would be an engineering check to roll. Does anybody want to roll that?
Sure, I can.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can. This will add some more time here, but
it's a 30.
Yep, that is going to be a success.
Did I just get a face upgrade?
Yeah, now you're like a robotic head DJ.
I got the full color package.
Yeah. Yes. What else can you do? You can change perhaps your if anybody has comm units or computers with computers check, you can set those up to try and help with communication.
Sure. That's a 33 on the computers check.
Okay, another success there, and that'll be enough successes here in this next section. 4 more of these skill checks to get another bonus. So we're now at plus two,
yeah,
for skill checks. The next thing is to dive right in and start trying to make contact. Start trying to communicate. And first, do you want just Trest out there?
Yes. Well, I mean, I do, but
so Trest, what's the plan?
I think the plan is to approach slowly, and stand can I see roughly? I mean, are they roughly like some of them very close to one another, some of them far apart, I presume?
Yeah, you catch, them moving out in groups, maybe from their buildings far in the distance, in groups of like 2 to 4 typically.
Mm-hmm. Then I'll do a nice socially distanced 10 feet. And as I approach slowly, I look for any sort of change in their demeanor or any sign that they're paying attention to me. At the same time, I'm sort of maybe 10 feet's a little close. Maybe I'll stay with like 30 foot. At the same time, I'm sort of like questing out with my telepathy to try to sort of touch like sort of I'm feeling for a mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. As you come across like a group of 3 of them moving about, one of them seems to have like a small collection of lichen that they've gathered with them. They seem to be, I mean, it's hard to tell. They're just all kinds of colors popping on all of them. But when you make yourself known with, coming up and just like popping out of a bush, I guess, all of a sudden you can tell their color reactions are very different as you get 3 colors back to back on all of them, firing in different locations on their bodies. Over and over. It's just black, white, white, brown, brown, black, black, white, white, brown. Those 3 colors. You are ronking currently like a red flashing orb over your shoulder. What would you like to do next?
Let's see. I don't know. Zinnia, you got any of that moss handy?
Yeah, Zinnia gives you a handful of moss.
All right.
You just like sneak up and you're like, here you go.
Yeah, thanks. Forgot to. I definitely should have picked this up before. I'm going to take a couple steps closer and I'll lay it down sort of before perhaps one of the ones that seems to be most intent on me.
Yeah, one of them kind of mellows out and is like primarily white, flashing white in your direction. And then as it comes over, the other 2 are, a lot of black and brown. This one will come over and go white, white, then green, white, 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 yellow, white, white, green, yellow, yellow. And eventually you see a pink in there. They start inspecting the lichen, and you see a couple of its nacelle little like nubbins come out and like rubs some of the lichen, kind of like crushing it down into a paste, and then starts maybe on a nearby rock, like rubbing some of the colors out. Seemingly trying to communicate with you. It is, believe it or not, it's already time for a diplomacy check with the base amount of communication skills that you've developed so far.
Hey, quick question. While Zinnia is handing him the lichen, can she also stick him in the side with the needle while she's there?
It's a drive-by stabbing.
Ow.
So did someone just take the game Simon Says and turn it into a creature and be like, this is the encounter?
I mean, it's the little close encounters, right? I mean, like just with lights or colors instead of music.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean,
yeah. I think I don't have a ton of control over my my mote's color, but I can try to flicker it as slowly as possible. Try to match their tempo.
I imagine if you have a data pad, you could probably.
Only if I had some computers.
I have computers.
I was about to say, you guys have developed one, at least one commune that you can use. If you want, you can send in Echo 7 to back up. It's up to you. You can have someone aid, but they'll have to make themselves known here. But Zinnia, you can go ahead and stick him. What is the compound you're giving him?
+2 to skill checks.
Okay.
Right.
So you got a +2 from your previous observations. You can kind of tell maybe what some colors are. You're more than likely going to want to stay away from brown and black.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe white.
Yeah, seems like green.
Avoid that brown sound.
Yeah.
Jabert, I can't remember how your communalism works. Does somebody have to be close enough to you, or?
I mean, yes.
You also got book reroll.
I also have the book reroll.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that if you need an ally within 10 feet, that Zinnia just hides next to you for reroll purposes.
I think Sprouts is like remains kind of like hidden.
You're gonna pop out. You're gonna scare Devasho even.
As long as an ally is within 10 feet. Yeah, I mean this might be a good time to use that. I don't know. I've got a +4 on this. I'm just gonna go for it. I believe. Oh no!
You should have not believed.
You know what? Book reroll. Let's do it.
Yay! So your first one was a 6 on the dice.
Yep. So that would have only been a 19, and I'm pretty sure I need to do better than that. Hey, that's better.
Yeah, it's a better roll.
Yeah, 30.
Yeah, maybe you start off a little hesitant, and like as you're like trying to think of the next color to flash, you like default to black, and you're like, oh no black, pink. 26 on the diplomacy is
+2 plus another 2, so +4 altogether.
Right, that will be enough to improve the step for these guys are starting off as unfriendly, and now even the ones that were first like black, brown, white, now are showing off a good deal of pink, white, perhaps orange in your direction. Doom.
Right, I'm gonna step back as to not push my luck.
Yeah, but they seem interested in communicating at the very least, and perhaps less likely to like run away. I think one of them is going to move back towards the village at this time, but these other two are going to stay. And like I said, one of them is plainly, you can see trying to communicate by a written language of colors, like on a rock, and the other one is very like slowly flashing colors in your direction. Let's see, what can we do? Okay, so the rest of you, if you do want to like be in the background and help out here for the next part, the next section is all about interaction, and as long as you guys want to spend, you can try to make some skill checks. The DCs are going up here, but this is in trying to make this first contact, this communication work. We can do more diplomacy. Well, I guess I could. I mean, why don't you guys give me the skill checks you want to roll, and I'll tell you if we can figure out a way to fit them into this section.
Can Zinnia design an app for her comm unit that flashes nice combinations of colors at them?
Yes, that is DC 28 computers or engineering to flesh out the program, something that can start working as like a universal translator.
Does Amy give me any kind of bonus since she's a level 4 computer?
She with us?
Tier 4?
Not to my knowledge, no, not on the computer checks themselves, but you can program her to like change colors, perhaps.
It's a 29.
All right, just a success, but success number 1. We're gonna call this.
I guess the
Tress did a
best
super success.
Hold on, my app needs a name. What's the app's name? It goes flashy flash.
Flicker. I think that's been taken.
That's a pretty good one. Oh yeah, it has been. Mine has an E in it though, so
so it's different. Yeah.
yeah.
Flecker. It's with an E.
Maybe
when we talk to people who haven't rolled a skill check yet, Devasha, what do you got besides Intimidate?
So, I mean, the next best skill besides Intimidate is Diplomacy, but if the DCs are in the 28s, that's a Hail Mary roll. I mean, it's not unobtainable.
No, you got a +2 right now from.
So I think Devasho, seeing that oranges, reds, and whites and yellows tend to be preferable colors, he can try to sequence out something simple with his moat. That's pretty easy to do for him. So just try to do that. And I think he would, he would definitely sit down. I mean, he stands way too tall to probably communicate well. So he's going to, sit down on the ground, try to make himself look as least intimidating as possible.
Yeah. I mean, you're typically like 12 feet tall and these things are like 1 foot, right? So did you want to, do you have sidereal influence as a bonus to diplomacy?
Yes, I do. So that'll be, so it's going to be a D20. I get a +2 to the D20 roll. Then I'll roll a 1D6 after this. But 28 is not going to look good. I see. I don't know why I bother. Why do I bother with any skill roll in the game?
3 on the dice.
Yeah. Not even going to bother with the sidereal. So ignore me.
Sprouts, Marlowe, anything you want to do here in this section?
Sprouts has been remaining quiet, partially because he also noticed their diet was of plants, and he is a plant.
Once again, you technically haven't seen them really eaten any of
that is fair.
Mm-hmm.
But also not wanting to spook them, with people trying to do different things. Everyone popping out might be a little much. So I think Sprouts is going to continue to observe, but can he make maybe a culture check to see like maybe how they're reacting or what their maybe protocol might be to receiving strangers?
It's so funny. What you're describing for culture is exactly what our good friend Kate Baker has written up here in the AP is using culture to skillfully navigate the ooze's cultural norms without causing offense.
Oh, nice.
So make me that culture check and see if you can.
Pressure's on now.
Figure it out.
Don't like that one bit.
You got to reroll.
It's a 25. A +3
with the I think just +2 at this point.
+2.
That's a success because it's awesome. DC 26. And with that you're pretty sure like rubbing the colorful lichen on your body might not be apropos, and like touching them and things like that, or you're able to tell just from their mannerisms what would be appropriate and what isn't, and definitely just like as odd as it is, just standing still and like flashing these colorful lights at them is one of the most appropriate things that you guys can be doing right now, and you're doing it.
So Sprouts is going to communicate that to his team, because while everyone's kind of figuring stuff out, I want to make sure that there is a cohesion with our communication in terms of dealing with these.
So the brightest light that Devasho can give off is a supernova. Is that what Sprouts is telling me to do?
That is
no. He's
the
telling
opposite
you to
of what Sprouts is telling you to do.
Go and download the app that I just created from the App Store. And we can all flash flicker at.
There we go.
It's only a $5 download.
Devasho looks at you and is like, credits? Really? Really?
Whereas Miles looks at Tyler and I'm just like, oh, son.
They're in-app purchases.
Yeah.
If you want something other than flashing black, you have to pay.
Oh no, the
Yeah, if you want the
color
pink.
green's gonna cost more. Yeah. No, Devasha will obviously listen to Sprouts and just keep doing what he's doing, even if it's not very effective.
So we've got a number of successes here. Is there anything Echo 7 wants to do in this first hour of communicating?
Well, Zinnia fixed my face, so I guess I could do something with that. Otherwise, unless they want to see me do push-ups, I'm not sure that there's a ton that I can do. Can I roll perception to see if I can see anything else that's around, like maybe a predator or some particularly download the app and install it on my face? Is that what you're trying to tell me, Rebecca?
Yeah, I mean that would be diplomacy if you want to try to communicate and make an impression with these lights. What other skills you got? Anything? See anything might be appropriate.
So I've got intimidate, and that's not going to work, I don't think. Is there a particular, like, if I look up at a tree around, is there like some particularly interesting, colorful lichen in a tree anywhere, somewhere that I could like scramble up with acrobatics or athletics to get to try to get something that maybe they can't easily get?
Let's see here.
Like a fruit in a tree or something. I'm all about that food. I just want to feed them.
Make me a survival check. See if you can harvest some other lichen nearby.
Yeah, here goes this plan. So that's a 6.
Oh no! I'm sorry. I thought you were trained in survival.
No, I'm not.
Oh no, very much so not. You get up in the tree top and start crushing all they're extremely rare violet lichen. Right.
Just wanted to pick it with some climbing.
So yeah, it's up to you guys. They seem not super helpful yet, unfortunately. We've just got the one diplomacy check. Do you want to spend some more time with this group? See if you can get them into helpful, or what would you like to do next?
Oh yeah, I don't want to go to the village until we have some natives that can advocate for us, that we're cool.
Mm-hmm.
So if that means we have more diplomacy rolls, Devasho can try. Otherwise, Sprouts, I think, has the highest diplomacy of us.
Is that true, Miles?
I have plus 14.
Yeah,
so
mine's way higher than us.
So mine's 13. So I can try to assist you, and then I don't know if you want to do the main roll.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Would it be all right if I assist with this as well?
Yeah,
Devasho and Trester backing him up on the moat backgrounds.
Yeah, this will
accent lights.
Stop you from making your own rolls this hour. This is hour 6 we're going into. Hour 2 of just straight up interacting with them. So
yeah.
Go ahead and roll those aids first.
Boy.
Imagine both are
I hate you.
automatic successes, right? Yeah. So at least plus 9. So Miles, and if do you have a anything to add, Zinnia, chemically for this roll?
I could. Yeah, can I stab him with another injection?
Well, I'm asking how many do you have per day?
Well, I have 7 prepared.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I would definitely for the diplomacy.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna fly by stealthily and stab Sprouts about in the butt.
Plus.
Oh yeah, that he won't notice that one bit.
Okay, that is.
So wouldn't that be plus 8?
Yeah. So no pressure. Go ahead and roll.
2 aids plus 2 because
That's a 29.
Skill checks plus 2 from me, so that's 8.
DC 28. So another success here, taking them from what did I just say? Indifferent to indeed helpful.
All right.
All right.
Or sorry, friendly is the next step. And I think what you're seeing here over the course of this hour is, moving from these whites, these pinks, these oranges, to now it's like pink, blue, blue, pink, blue, blue, blue. And then eventually towards the end of the hour, they're like moving around with you. There's purples, there's reds, there's blues being offered, colors that you did not see at all the first hour.
Excellent.
Zinnia updates the app.
Yeah. Let's see.
I wonder if there's any bonus. Hey, Patrick, in the AP, if your character is blue, like literally one of the better colors, do they just get just a static bonus?
You got pink hair. We like you.
Yeah, exactly. I was just because I'm looking at the art, and there's a vest and art, and vests are green and blue, which are two of the better colors. And
they don't like humans then, because humans are all white, black, and brown. There's like, get out of here. Get out of here, humans.
Oh no, racist oozes.
Yeah. Well, racist against all human colors.
Yeah.
We like pinks and oranges around these parts.
Zinnia's pretty gray, so they probably don't like her very much either. So,
yeah, grayish blue.
Whereas Sprouts is bright green.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you guys, it's up to you. What would you like to do next? These ones seem fairly friendly, and I think in this next hour, maybe some more come back.
What's our overall goal here? I know we're supposed to establish first contact, but is there any other purpose with the first contact?
I literally think our goal is to not have these creatures hate us. Like just to create good relations. Hylax is about
no, I am down with that. I just didn't know if there was a supplemental goal of this first contact, if we were supposed to do anything, or
I think it is literally just to leave with a positive, like make first contact, have it be positive.
Man, that strange collection of creatures know how to party.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just realized, are we supposed to be spreading the good word of Hylax? Are we like the door-to-door?
Nope.
Okay.
Sprouts would
that's not really how that works. Yeah, so no, we're
just go up to their church door and start nailing commandments or whatever.
Just making sure. do we have a pamphlet or something?
Pink is the color of the devil, I say. The devil.
If you flash brown at me, I will flush that down with violence.
Oh, Tyler.
It's so stupid. That's the dumbest joke I've made on the podcast.
Well, it's up to you guys. I mean, you're only about halfway done with the 12 hours you've been allotted. So
if more of them are coming out to us, that's great.
And I will explain the ones that come out are first, white, black, brown. But then there's what looks like a wave of colors that go through a group of 5 or 6 of them that have now, come out to communicate with you. That goes to yellow, goes to orange, and then eventually to pink.
I guess at this point, I think we have gauged what these colors can kind of mean in terms of friendliness. Is there any way that we can try to actually communicate with them to let them know who we are and, that we're from?
I don't know if it's that specific. I think it doesn't seem to be. I don't think I don't think we could tell them our name.
Because I don't know. It just seems weird to me that
information with trust, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something like that. That's a great idea, Drew. Because I have a hard time believing that we're just dropped here, and it's have a first contact. Which again, the concept still for me is rooted in Star Trek, but it's just don't start a fight. Is that it? Is just get along for 12 hours? I thought there might be more of a purpose to the communique.
I don't think so. I mean, because you got to think of what can we possibly accomplish in 12 hours? I mean, if this were days, I would say then the purpose might be to.
Oh no! I just mean glean what are they called? If we can actually communicate with them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if we could figure that out, I think that would be amazing. But
what's the frequency, Kenneth?
Yeah.
What? I mean, it sounds like you want
No one
some
picked
more.
up on that.
Oh no, I've got you. You guys want to spend potentially some more time figuring out just what all they're about, and we can do that. We can move into hour 7, 3 of interacting. And
I know Sprouse definitely would, because I mean, if there's one thing that attracts him, it's a mystery, and nothing is more mysterious than a alien life form that he has never seen, met, or heard of before that he's trying to figure out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, by all means, Xenia is very excited at the prospect of discovering a species, and hopefully taking some home, perhaps, if possible.
You are so
Okay,
weird.
that's a little dark.
Yeah, I would just like to perform some xeno kidnapping.
lobotomies.
what I love about Zinnia is, like, Talara was supposed to be Rebecca's like angsty badass character, and for somehow Zinnia has become like the dark character that I think she tried to make the last season.
Yeah.
She has dubious morals. That's intentional,
fleeing.
but I mean, I'm not suggesting we kill them or anything. Just, like if I could get a hair sample or something, it'd be really cool.
Just
Just
cut off
slice them down the
genetic
middle and
material.
wear them as a hat.
Get one of those little tentacles that's popping off of them. They'll never.
Is there any way to glean information about their hierarchy that doesn't involve culture?
I was about to say,
I would like to know what television shows they like.
potentially sense motive.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if I could maybe do some sense motive to sort of sense if there's perhaps some amount of deference that most of the group is paying towards one of them, somewhere where we could like really sort of like turn our attention towards them and see if we have there's one in this group that is I mean, I don't even know if they have something that's not totally egalitarian.
You mean you want them to take us to their leader?
I mean, essentially, I'm trying to, in the group that is in front of us, if there is one that everyone sort of defers to as the leader, maybe we should talk to them, and then before we go into the village. And so,
Right. Yeah, make me a sense motive check.
all right. Whoop. Big lift. Ah, so close. 18, 20.
Yeah, with the bonuses, you're not able to discern specifically amongst them what any kind of like hierarchy, even in like this dissemination of information from like the first two that really have been talking with the longest compared to some of these other new ones. Part of this communication this entire time, you guys can be... You can make up a name for yourselves in their color language if you want, and try and communicate that. And like when you try and get like the names of these two, they say the same thing. And you realize that the name that they're giving is just like blue, pink, red, perhaps, is like what they all say when you ask, like, what is your name? It translates loosely, perhaps in common language, to us. They're just saying us multiple times. So
sort of a hive mind collective, perhaps.
Yeah, you don't get from your conversations that you've had with them so far, and you can try and communicate with them psychically, but the words that they're able to psychically put back are just come through as me saying white, pink, blue, in your mind.
I love it.
Or the colors like flashing in your mind, So not enough to figure out there. What else do you guys want to do this hour? Zinnia, do you want to try and maybe describe to them like what you guys are, like what you're made of with life science?
Yeah. Can I try to do that?
We are gross.
I mean, you
look inside any of this.
You have to. I mean, it's a little difficult. So that's a success, DC 26. You have to like both describe kind of like auditory communication with them with the use of colors and like, explaining speech and things like that. And they make reference to bugs, the bugs that are around them, and like one of them like will pick up what looks like more of a chunky looking grasshopper on their planet, and as it's like kind of screeching to be let go, they're like, you scream like the bugs. White, blue, black, red.
Yeah, Xenia will use her app to say us, and then point to Trust and Devasho. They're bugs too, right? I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so we're going there.
This one's real awkward. He's like, black, brown, and we'll like kind of like crunch the bug up and like mushes it through its membrane.
Oh.
They seem to be trying to explain that they eat the bugs.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I was just trying to point out that we are more similar.
Gray, white,
to...
gray, brown, gray.
You've depressed them.
No, but their communication has happened here. Do you guys want to try for another diplomacy check?
Sure.
Yeah. And,
team assist.
Go ahead and feel free to assist. Echo, if you want to assist as well. It's just DC 10. And you made it, Drew. Tress, you already rolled sense motive, so I was giving our boy a try, and a natural one for Devasho. Still a success.
Still a success. I eke out.
Still works. It's still good. It's still good.
Not as good as my previous. I just like that I love in this game I can go from getting a 30 plus to a 14.
Go ahead and roll Miles.
Oh boy. Oh no.
Oh no. Natural one.
That's a natural one.
Now, because of the bonuses, this isn't going to set you back, but not succeeding. Do you want to re-roll that? Do you want to book 4 re-roll that, or do you want to let it stand and move on to the next hour?
Yeah, I'm gonna let it stand.
Okay. Alrighty. Yeah. So it doesn't seem. Maybe you guys know more about one another, but you haven't gotten them to helpful yet. The final stage kind of the conversation. Do you want to try again in a subsequent hour?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, everyone can aid if you want, because this is like the primary mode of communication is going to be using this diplomacy. And to be honest, I'm just looking at the other skills. We've rolled most of the other ones, the other successes. So plenty of successes here. Miles, why don't you just go ahead and roll me the main diplomacy check here first and see if we need to go through some rigmarole. No. Okay. You've rolled the 26. So with the bonuses that everyone can provide, finally, like some more people come in this hour, and then like a whole group moves off, and I think you get the temperaments and like the conversations that start happening with them will move to pinks and reds, and then some people blues and purples. And for the most part, they seem to be communicating, trying to help you communicate in their language. So giving you guys colorful names, and trying to explain that they are indeed interested in cultures from other planets. They are interested in you, and interested in what happens. And they will bring you into like the outskirts of the town where you see these small little hut like buildings where they just kind of like glom to the sides and like climb up the sides of them to get inside. And it's very colorful. They're kind of like Adobe style buildings, but graffiti on all of them that you can now start piecing together is written text for street signs and things like that. The colors do kind of correspond with some emotions, but you realize like when you string together like certain colors, they make ideas, and like when you put together multiple ideas, it just works like a base language. So I guess a good example would be like, imagine if vowels were happy, and rare things like X and Q were off-putting letters. They kind of work colors in like that. So both responses and their language.
I think something that would be cool at some point is to pull up, I don't know, on a data pad or on some kind of technological device, kind of a holo map, and show them where they are, and then show them in relation to. I know that we've kind of done a weird Forever Reliquary jump, so we're not 100%. Maybe I don't even know if we're 100% sure where we are, but even if we were to show them the scope of, the Pact or the Suscalon system, just kind of showing them where we're from or what else is out there would be kind of maybe interest them.
Yeah, and it might not be because you don't have like telemetry data of this planet, but there's like videos you can show of them zooming in on a planet and then like going through the atmosphere and then like zooming into things that they would be able to recognize, like hills and meadows and trees, and then like all the way down to the ground floor. And that kind of helps them because they don't really have much of a concept of space besides the fact that they know that like some other lights in the sky are not white, but they're like different colors, sure. Things like that. The two main ones that have been talking with you now for about 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours, are flashing pink, red, and blue in your direction, and like your comm unit is now like translating like bits and pieces for you, and they say dinner feast inside in short time food for you.
Crest seems nervous. Devasho nervously.
There's like a cook shearing on the table, and it's like, well, roll initiative. They told me I wouldn't need my sword, but I do.
Oh boy.
Your moat's like, I'm one of them now. Starts flashing black and brown at you. Right. No, after a while, they show you around the city. As like I said, they are helpful at this point in the interaction, and will show you like nooks and crannies of their society. And it's not really like a hive mind that they have, but it is an extremely egalitarian and kind of a level society. There, like I said before, there doesn't seem to be like a high strata classes or anything like that. But a fairly simple society as well. But they do have a good deal of technology from what you see. Maybe looking in some of their buildings here, it seems to be biotech, a lot of biotech. And so you can like take a look at like some of their scientists or whatnot, which a lot of chemical things perhaps you're not extremely familiar with, but you recognize as a mark of like a advanced civilization. And after too long, they invite you into one of their larger buildings, which seems to be like partially underground. And unfortunately, I think our taller PCs here will have to like stoop a little bit, but you can get down in them, and there seems to be dancing and a long stone tablet like on the ground level, right near them, where there are fungi and let's see, cooked and candied insects and other things the oozes eat here, laid out in small wooden bowls. Yeah, and they welcome you with reds and pinks and blues, conveying very positive kind of welcomes and calling you guests of honor here in this gathering. And they reveal they have perhaps like a small gauze cloth on the back of this building. They let it down as you all come inside, and you see a small mural of the inks that they make from the lichen on their planet. And this mural shows the 5 of you, your forms drawn up, but in colors that don't really match your armor or skin tones, but seem to be depictions of your interactions with them. So Zinnia, you see, is holding her comm unit and is primarily yellow. Trest is pink, very calm. Devasho purple, and is shown being very caring and reserved, perhaps holding one of the oozes, while Small Sprouts is drawn with white with shades of red, and Echo 7 maybe white with orange highlights around your edges where your gunmetal color would be.
Am I honored by this? By the color that they gave me?
Yeah, that's like their busy or like working kind of color, yellow.
Okay.
Y'all thinky.
Yeah, for you guys are gonna hate me. I've
too late.
I've gleaned some of this stuff from the amazing story that Kate Baker has put together for us this week, but for the emotional spectrum of like what colors mean, I looked up what like a mood ring does. Right. I was like, yeah, these are like walking mood rings. Sure, why not? They flash at you blues and reds as they invite you to eat with them, and I mean, cool. It's pretty good. As far as, they don't seem like they need like a ton of resources, but they very slowly will eat. They eat some lichen. You notice it's like not a color that they typically show off. And they just kind of break up their food and rub it into their bodies. Their ooze like skin just kind of absorbs it. And they flash blue and red in response. Towards the end of the dinner, about an hour in, you guys have about an hour before you have to leave. One of the larger and a more aged looking ooze comes up to you all and flashes a speech: red, blue, green, brown, white, black, yellow, gray, gray, white, black, red, purple, 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 purple. And then with that, the entire assembly glows all at once and brighter than they have in their normal interactions. And it's just a sea of purple and green lights everywhere. And you guys translate that to mean, it's an endearing, it's like their applause. They're in love with you, and they're jealous of the lives that you lead, things like that.
I'm going to retire back here. When Devasho's done with all this, I'm taking my family, coming back here.
These oozes are rad.
Yeah.
A very small ooze kind of carries up a wooden box to you guys, and inside you find a number of large bulbous sacks. They seem to be made of an aqueous material. 4 of them colored brown, 1 yellow, and 2 blue. And Zinnia, it is very simple to run quick tests on these sticky organic pods to realize that they are indeed plant-based liquids inside that function as serums and medicinals. Specifically, 4 Mark II serums of healing, the equivalent thereof. It's not a magical form of healing, but 2 serums of enhancement, sensate. And that is a magical potion that basically gives you a +2 insight bonus to life science and mysticism checks, I believe for an hour.
Cool.
And then there's a single tier 3 antitoxin. you do not want to eat the wrong lichen on this planet, so they're worried.
Oh, I see. I'm glad we didn't eat the wrong lichen on the planet. I'm a little worried that means we're going to get poisoned later for funsies, but for now, grateful.
Wait, nobody ate the lichen, did they?
Oh yeah,
You didn't eat the lichen, Devasho, did you?
The ones they just served, of course.
Oh yeah, the ones here are fine.
It was delicious.
Yeah. No, did I just eat the lichen while you guys were out stealthing?
Is that what you were doing out in the field?
You see Devasho with a bucket of lichen just pointing like, look at this guy. It's flashing green. What does that even
crazy colors over here?
What's green mean?
I just imagine you guys have come back. We've scouted the village, and Devasho's just face down in some vomit. He's
just face down dead.
Oh no!
The lichen was good at first, but I ate too much.
Yeah, there's a celebration, and they understand if you explain that you have to leave, but can tell them that someone can come back in the future to communicate with them again from the Forever Reliquary. But for now, you must be leaving. Indeed, as you guys move back towards where you came in the foothills and find the portal, Tuva and the rest of the Sacred Assembly welcome you back, looking rather pleased. And Tuva says, "Oh, you all must understand what you were able to accomplish in such a short amount of time. Well, that was simply amazing. Our monks that we would train in First Contact, they devote years of their lives to understanding alien cultures and communication, and even they would be impressed with your example here today. As we deem this a success, so we confer upon you a most sacred and holy aspect of our mission is to give these aliens a name for our records. What would you all like to call them?
LSPs.
LSP.
You can make a different acronym for them. Like, what is this new LSP stand for?
Little squish pillows.
Luminescent, sentient puffs.
Okay, I'm gonna try my best to get them in Alien Archive 5, guys. We'll get them LSPs in there. If not, we'll
Oh, please don't. I don't
third party
this.
That's not the legacy I want to see.
Season 6, don't you want to play an LSP?
Alien Archive
100%
5.
the legacy I want to leave behind.
Alien Archive 5. These are the color wheel oozes. So
you're just like a kick butt soldier, and you're like,
we should
purple, black, brown, baby.
What if we just called them Pantones?
Pantones
like
is
it.
pretty good.
I'm sorry, what was the suggestion?
Pantones?
Pantaloons?
No, Pantones.
Pantones, like the color.
P-A-N-T-O-N-E-S.
Yeah.
Pantones, aka LSPs.
Yeah, that's fine.
Luminescent something.
Luminescent sentient puffs.
Luminescent sentient Pantones.
That works too.
It bridges both of yours together. Makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Tuva
Two great tastes taste great together.
We'll say, so concludes the first trial. We shall reconvene here tomorrow for your second. Until then, you all can go back to your rooms or whatever you would like to do. Explore the rest of the reliquary.
I'm not going to leave, but you don't have to talk to me anymore.
Technically, you don't have to talk to me anymore because also to be continued. Next week on the podcast.
Tuva really lost her train of thought.
I really thought that you were to say you were welcome to be continued. I thought that's where you were to kind of like cut us off there.
Yes, we've got down a single trial. You guys obviously passed with some flying colors.
Quite literally.
Well, some excellent skill checks by my comrades. Well done, team skill check.
Hey, you had some good ones too.
I won. Uno.
Hey, Better than none.
And it was an assist. I mean, I'll take an assist.
You and me, buddy. You and me.
You know what Jack Black always says: "Win is all you need."
Well,
Yeah.
Tyler, what if we can make you better at skill checks in the future in some way?
Well, like what, in the form of leveling up or something?
Yeah, well, why don't you guys just go ahead and level up for next week?
Yeah, I'm
Hey-yo.
picking up what you laying down.
Yeah, you better get some skill feats. Stop complaining, baby.
Skill focused diplomacy. Here I come.
Hold on, is this level 8?
Level 8, yeah.
Wow.
Big one.
Getting up there.
Big.
There you go.
We're getting up there in levels.
Yeah, no, we're like 5 or 6 episodes into book 4, believe it or not.
Book Quattro.
Yeah. So that's that's what we're gonna start next week's episode with. We're gonna talk about level 8 characters and then continue on these trials. Will they get tougher than communicating with an alien species that is never spoken an alien language before? We'll see next time.
Oh boy.
Until then, thanks for playing with me, guys.
Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you.
Listeners out home there listening, thanks so much, and we'll see you next time on Cosmic Crit.
Bye-bye.
Have a good week. Bye.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Cosmic Crit. This episode has been made possible through a sponsorship with Roll20 and the backing of our Critamander fans on Patreon. Thanks again and have a great week.